an Iranian icon's forgotten song. It was Sanjay Dutt's entry song in Dhurandhar. Banned by the Islamic Revolution, this is the story of Kourosh Yagmei, the writer, composer and singer of Hawa Hawa.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX Explained. Dhurandhar has not just arrived, it has rewritten the record books. The film has surpassed every box office landmark set before it, with a staggering worldwide collection of 1,230 crores and 830 crores earned from India alone. In an era of fractured attention spans and unpredictable theatrical runs, Dhurandhar has emerged as a rare, undeniable phenomena. But this success cannot be credited only to powerful performances, a tightly written script, or its fast-paced, nail-biting narrative. There is another force working quietly yet powerfully beneath the surface, the film's music, that is. The album deserves equal recognition, not merely as background score, but as a storytelling device that taps into collective memory. It invokes nostalgia, but with a twist, resurrecting melodies that carry histories far deeper than their immediate cinematic impact. One of the most striking moments comes with Akshay Khanna's iconic entry, underscored by a track with Baluchi origins that immediately sets a grounded, raw tone. But it is another entry sequence that has truly exploded across social media. When Sanjay Dutt appears as SP Aslam, the moment is electric, not just because of Dutt's imposing screen presence, but because of a familiar melody slipping in, instantly transporting audiences back to decades. For millennials and Gen X viewers, the effect is visceral. The song is Hawa Hawa, a tune that has lived many lives across borders, languages and political upheavals. Nearly 4 decades after it first dominated cassette players, its reappearance in Dhurandhar has reopened a story far more layered and tragic than the song's breezy rhythm would suggest. The track's journey spans Pakistan and Iran. In 1987, Hawa Hawa turned a young Pakistani singer, Hassan Jahangir, into a cultural phenomenon. The song was omnipresent, from wedding playlists to roadside radios, and Jahangir's fame soon spilled across borders. Such was the scale of the craze that he was dubbed the Michael Jackson of Pakistan. His album, titled Hawa Hawa, reportedly sold over 15 million cassettes in India alone, an extraordinary number in the pre-digital era. For millions of listeners, Hawa Hawa became shorthand for carefree romance and youthful exuberance, rarely raising questions about where the melody itself came from. To trace that origin, one must look towards Iran. The Hawa Hawa heard in Dhurandhar can be traced back to Hawa Hawa, a song composed in 1976 by Iranian musician Kourosh Yagmei, widely regarded as the godfather of Iranian psychedelic rock. The lyrics of Hawa Hawa translate to an exultant cry, "Hail, hail, my beloved is coming," a song of longing, anticipation and emotional release. The track appeared on the same album as Gole Yak, Yagmei's breakout single that became a nationwide hit in Iran in 1973, selling over 5 million copies domestically. While Gole Yak enjoyed instant acclaim, Hawa Hawa carried a subtler, hypnotic quality, one that quietly embedded itself into listeners' consciousness before resurfacing years later across South Asia in a transformated avatar. To understand how a melody born in pre-revolution Iran could travel this far, one must understand the man behind it. Born in 1946 in Shahrud, Iran, Kourosh Yagmei discovered music early after his father gifted him a santoor at the age of 10. And by the 1960s, he had taught himself traditional Iranian music, picked up the electric guitar, and formed his first band, the Raptures. Influenced by vinyl records from surf rock pioneers like the Ventures, the band covered tracks by the Ventures, the Kinks, the Beatles, and the Monkees. As a songwriter, Yagmei emerged as a rare cross-pollinator, fusing Persian classical melodies and poetry with Western psychedelic rock. He cited Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd as major influences and began blending distorted guitar riffs with Persian lyricism. In the early 1970s, he formed another band with his brothers Kamran and Kambiz, creating a sound that was revolutionary in Iran at that time. His music came to define a generation and cemented his place as one of the country's most original artistic voices. Let's understand the origins of his first breakout album, where Hawa Hawa came from. In 1973, while studying at Shahid Beheshti University in Tehran, Yagmai released his debut single Goleyak, written by Mehdi Khavan Langrudi, a close friend and one of Iran's most significant modern poets. Despite high sales, Yagmai earned only modest royalties. Between 1975 and 79, he recorded 24 songs, 17 of which were released across two albums, Hajme Khali and Sarbeto. The remaining tracks were recorded during the politically volatile pre-revolution years. Then came the rupture, and after the 1979 Iranian Revolution, Western-influenced music was banned and Yagmai's work was deemed unsuitable under the new regime. Unlike many artists who fled the country, he chose to stay. For 17 years, he was forbidden from performing publicly or releasing albums. His music, once celebrated, was effectively erased from the public sphere and memory. To survive creatively, Yagmai turned to children's music and educational publishing, finding ways to keep music alive within rigid state boundaries. When he finally released his fourth album, Diyar, in 1987, it had to be stripped of guitars, drums and bass to comply with government regulations. In the 1990s, restrictions eased marginally and Yagmai was permitted to perform concerts abroad and released albums. Even then, censorship followed him. He was not allowed to feature his own portrait on the album cover. His last album, legally published in Iran, came in 2001. And between 2003 and 2006, he worked on Malik Jamshed. But after years of seeking approval, the album was denied release and later banned in Iran despite being released internationally. Today, Kourosh Yagmai lives in Tehran, runs a music school and mentors younger musicians. In late 2025, he announced his retirement with his final album, number 44, marking the end of a career shaped as much by resistance as creativity. Artists like Yagmai do more than create music. They become conduits through which culture survives repression. His unique blend of Iranian psychedelic rock and blues, often using keyboards instead of guitars for rhythm, broke conventions and inspired generations long after his voice was silenced at home. That endurance is perhaps best captured in the journey of Hawa Hawa itself. The melody has been repeated, reborn in Bollywood, and tracks like Aya Aya Wo Aya from Aag Ka Gola, Jawan Jawan Ishq and from Billu Badshah, and later remixed in Chalis Chorasi and Mubaraka, and now decades later it returns yet again in Dhurandhar. A song that began in 1970s Iran, survived censorship, crossed borders and outlived regimes, has once again found its moment. And in doing so, it reminds us of a simple truth. Authoritarian systems may silence artists, but art itself never truly disappears. It waits, it travels, it transforms and returns. Yagmai's life mirrors the deeper struggle driving Iran's protest today and the fight for voice, dignity and freedom under an authoritarian system. And after the 1979 revolution, his music was banned and he was silenced for nearly 2 decades. Not because his songs called for rebellion, but because free artistic expression itself was seen as a threat. Forced to strip his work of instruments, denied the right to perform, and pushed to the cultural margins, Yagmai's quiet refusal to abandon his art became an act of resistance. Today's protesters, demanding space to live, speak and create without fear, are pushing back against the same system of control that once tried to erase his music. In that sense, Yagmai's journey is not just a personal story from the past, it is a part of a longer continuum of Iranian resistance, where art, identity and protest remain inseparably linked.
An Iranian icon's forgotten song. It was Sanjay Dutt's entry song in Dhurandhar. Banned by the Islamic Revolution, this is the story of Kourosh Yagmai, the writer, composer and singer of Hawa Hawa.